Because of his conceit that he would be fine no matter what he did to her, he found it fun to probe Testarossa's intentions. That was Twilight's bad habit and weakness. Testarossa was well aware of Twilight's personality like that. You haven't grown at all. What are you saying? I've become much stronger than before. Phew, it's ridiculous. The way you fight is childish. You probably enjoy tormenting an opponent who is much weaker, don't you? It's just like a child crushing an ant nest and feeling happy about it. So? What's wrong with that? I'm not saying it's bad. I just think it's foolish. Those were Testarossa's true feelings. It's one thing to look down on an opponent you can beat, but toying with them is out of the question. This is especially true if it's a battle you cannot afford to lose. If there is a difference in strength, you should finish them off quickly. Above all, you must not give your opponent any time to devise strategies. You say I'm foolish. That's a strange thing to say. It's the truth. But I'll thank you. After all, it's because of that I can win. From Testarossa's perspective, it was an unbelievable act of folly, but this time, it saved her. By taking advantage of Twilight's bad habit, the conditions for Testarossa's victory were met. Don't be ridiculous. No matter what you do, you can't bridge this gap in strength. Twilight laughed at Testarossa's words, but she quickly pulled back her smile. Because they sensed the abnormality of Testarossa. Not only were there no scars, but even the torn uniform had been repaired. Twilight wondered how the hell she could do that. The bewitching smile on her face was brimming with confidence, and she didn't seem cornered. Is this guy seriously thinking he can beat me? That's impossible. Twilight can be resurrected, no matter how many attacks it takes. Testarossa is worse in terms of energy loss. Twilight's pseudo-dragon body was constructed from Velzard's magicules floating in the air. Even if it was reduced to dust, it could regenerate instantly, and there was no way to defeat it. And in terms of the mental aspect, since the heart core is being protected within Velzard, even if the soul were to be shattered, it would still be possible to resurrect. Truly invincible. It doesn't matter who it is, Twilight is confident that it should be able to defeat even Veldanava. As such, there was no way he could lose to someone like Testarossa. Fine. I'll shatter that confidence of yours. I'll show you the true power of my authority, the ultimate skill. Lord of Viciousness, Angra Mainyu. Twilight declared that with a bewitching glint in his eyes. Ultimate skill. Lord of Viciousness, Angra Mainyu is the most evil and heinous authority in this world. It is the very will to kill gods, and can be said to be an authority specifically designed to counter Veldanava. He surpassed his parents. In other words, he was a god killer. Twilight also bore the burden of that fate. The reason he made Luminous kill him was so he could observe the process of achieving that feat. In light of every possible case, he intended to kill Veldanava in perfect condition. Since Veldanava wouldn't be resurrected, that ambition remained unfulfilled, but because of that, ultimate skills. Lord of Viciousness, Angra Mainyu, were more refined and vicious. This is a high-ranking authority within the Sin series, but it does not possess control over lower-tier authorities like Archangel's Dominion, Ultimate Dominion. Demon-type authorities are inherently free, making them unrelated to subjugation. Precisely because of this, there were no coercive domination abilities, such as Royal Authority Activation, Regalia Dominion. You could say there was no need for that in the first place. Ultimate skills. Lord of Viciousness, Angra Mainyu, possesses an absolute authority capable of reducing all things to nothingness. All life forms end up with death. The one who lures anyone, no matter what, to a place from which there is no escape, is the eternal regression of the Lord of Viciousness, Angra Mainyu, a being specialized in trampling upon the free will of others. Continue to perish in my world. Eternal Twilight. Malice assaulted Testarossa. The embodiment of vice, who even takes the anguished cries of the damned in hell as sustenance, that is the true nature of the Lord of Viciousness, Angra Mainyu. It is a despicable authority, more malicious and loathsome than demons that feed on human emotions. However, the effect was immense. The eternal regression boasted by the Lord of Viciousness, Angra Mainyu, is a fearsome ability that captures all beings within its range of effect in a pseudo-hell, forcing them to endure endless nightmares, until the world itself is annihilated. The captives are not permitted to attain liberation and must endure until the end of the world. Moreover, their anguish and cries of resentment only serve to further nurture the growth of the Lord of Viciousness, Angra Mainyu. If you are targeted by this, there is no way to escape. Even if you are the primordial demon who is familiar with hell, you will be doomed to repeat the nightmare of being destroyed and reborn over and over again. And then your soul would be exhausted, and eventually you would be reduced to nothingness. In the end, Twilight, who was looking forward to seeing which would end sooner, shouted with joy. Ahahaha. My malice can even destroy God. No matter how ancient in existence you might be compared to me, someone like you is nothing. The darkness of the end, the embodiment of despair, threatened to swallow up the white world. However, nothing happened. Testarossa floated elegantly where she had come from. Twilight was genuinely shocked. That nostalgic feeling is the same as what he felt when the unexpected results of the experiment came out. But unlike that time, he wasn't excited. It's just that he can't accept reality. It seems strange, doesn't it? How foolish of you not to have noticed it at all. Well, why? Why are you safe? Twilight didn't even care that he'd been mocked for being foolish. He wanted to know why. Testarossa had to be dead. There was no way something as ridiculous as being completely unharmed could happen. However, that is Twilight's concern, and Testarossa has no obligation to go along with it. She simply carries out the role assigned to her, calmly and methodically. Testarossa's cherry blossom lips formed an evil arc. And then, she announced his despair. You want to know what destruction is all about, don't you? That's great. I'll tell you. I just finished preparing. As soon as she finished saying that, Testarossa's derisive smile deepened. And then, they carried it out as planned from the start. Nihilistic World. Nihilistic End. The world turns white. Originally, the area had already been white out due to Verzert's ice and snow, but now it was engulfed by a white darkness so intense that it seemed to blot out even that. The world was completely shrouded in it. You're kidding, right? I don't know what's going on outside anymore. Man, I've been here for a long time. I'm surprised. It's not that Moss's barrier is amazing, but rather there's an invisible film on his surface. As expected of Testarossa. It's no wonder you managed to draw with me. And, the voices of those who were watching from the sidelines could be heard. Their sentiments were three-way, but everyone had one thing in common. They were shocked. Then again, Sauka was a different story. The snow and ice of Velzert were also disturbing the magical particles, so even magic-powered detection was useless. Due to the prolonged state of complete whiteout, their senses had long since become numb. The reason she didn't suffer from a mental breakdown was that she could still perceive within Moss's barrier. This time, it seems to have been completely covered in even more white, but from Sauka's perspective, she couldn't tell the difference. She felt like something outrageous must have happened, and had already detached herself, as if it were someone else's problem. Meanwhile, as for Twilight, he didn't have the luxury of being heartwarming like that. He was trying to grasp the situation by speeding up his mind to the maximum, in a state of thought acceleration of millions, tens of millions of times. What happened? My eternal Twilight was perfect, so why is Testarossa unharmed? No, more importantly, what is this white darkness? That white was eating away at Twilight's body. It's faster than his body's regenerative speed. No, calm down. Even if my body turns to dust, I can just create another dragon body. What's more important right now is to find out what Testarossa did. Deciding that it didn't matter what happened to his own body, that would have to wait, Twilight tried to resume his analysis of the situation. Just then, Testarossa's thought reached the infinitely delayed thought area. How about it? How does it feel to taste true destruction? Interesting. I've understood a little of what you did. You left the void that you used to track my existence just as it was. Yes, that's exactly right. That's impressive. To be able to maintain this so naturally while fighting against me. Twilight praised her from the bottom of his heart. The void is the energy of ultimate destruction. To naturally merge it with snow and ice, maintaining it in a harmless state as it is, was, from a common sense perspective, a pointless act. The consumption cost is too high, so it is more effective to quickly convert it into an attack. Moreover, keeping it concealed until the moment of the attack was an act that, from Twilight's perspective, was incomprehensible. That's precisely why it could be said that he overlooked it, but there is no sense of urgency. Indeed, it was a direct hit from the void, so his current body, including its soul, would disappear. However, Twilight would be completely regenerated, so it was meaningless. This is perfect immortality. It's because he's invincible. However, this is where a miscalculation occurs. Testarossa had murmured in exasperation. It seems you really don't understand. My void is not something summoned from hell. Huh. Twilight looked at Testarossa, wondering what the hell she was talking about. The one there was the absolute monarch, grinning with an expression of rapture. This power is proof that the esteemed one is still alive. Beyond the door deep in my chest, I felt a definite breath. What have you been doing since a while ago? I wanted to feel more, but it seems like it's time to say goodbye. Testarossa is cautious. She wouldn't do anything that surpassed her own caliber, like Sejin did. She understood that even if she tried, she wouldn't succeed in the first place. However, the prescribed amount was more than enough of a threat. Testarossa's ultimate skill. King of the Dead World, Belial is the power closest to death. Among them, the afterlife is a power that deals with the hellish flames of void. Because of this, the Nihility collapse borrowed from Rimuru can be safely used within the prescribed amount, and by combining it with her own Nihilistic World, she had become able to control a dangerously unstable world, as if it were her own. The void devours even information particles. To be more precise, it erases the information written into the information particles. All possible orders were meaningless if they couldn't be conveyed. Even if the information is instantly synchronized across time and space, if it is interfered with by the information particle in which the information is recorded. Impossible. My hardcore is not reacting. Of course, right. I've played along with you many times, but I'm starting to get bored of playing with you. So, it's time to end this. With that, Testarossa's thought left her. Twilight's thought process became lonely once more. What? You're saying this white darkness is all nothingness? Ridiculous. There's no way such a thing could be true. As far as Twilight knew, there was no one who could control the voids, which were already difficult to control, enough to fill the space, even if they were isolated. It can be compared to simultaneously facing off against 1,000 renowned shogi players from all over the world and dominating the board. Not a single moment of concentration can be lost, and even the smallest mistake is unforgivable. Yet, even so, it was an accomplishment that seemed like a dream within a dream, something that could never happen, even in a story. From the past to the present, yes, even Veldanava should have been unable to pull off such a feat. What the hell's going on? Twilight's consciousness is swallowed up by the white darkness. Although he should have had his intellectual curiosity satisfied after receiving the answer from Testarossa, a new question arose, leaving his mind unfulfilled.